everybody, this is Fred from Profile, and today I'm talking with Bruce, Soord and Gavin from the Pineapple Thief. I'm extremely honored to have you both here on Profile, and thanks for doing this. How are you guys doing?
Good, good. Yeah, we're just at the first show of our UK of the tour, which is the end of the Dissolution tour, actually, before we have a big break and then come over to North America.
Oh yeah, that's great news. This is my second interview with Bruce. The first one was back in July 2016 following the release of your album, The Wilderness, which is right here. Beautiful album. Bruce's comments on Gavin's talent and everything was extremely positive. I'd like to know more on how you two met, as well as how did Gavin become the official drummer for Pineapple Thief?
Well, it was when we sat down. There was only three of us in the band when we started Your Wilderness, because our last drummer, Dan, just didn't have time to commit to the band. And actually, I was thinking, what are we going to do? Shall we even carry on with the band? It was that kind of a point. And our label suggested get in touch with Gavin, and so I just dropped him an email. And
it was a tribute to my availability.
So it was one of those things where you think, well, let's see if he likes it. And I sent him, it's just a couple of tracks, wasn't it? Early demos, and
I did like it, yeah.
Yeah, which was good. I mean, obviously Gavin gets quite a lot of requests to do session work and things like that. And it was just a session at that point. So, but what happened was that as the album progressed, but it seemed obvious to me that there was something more than just a session. It was becoming more creative. And I don't know if you feel the same, but it was like the way that Gavin contributed to the songs wasn't just a session. So that's so basically what happened was we released Your Wilderness, and then we were kind of stuck because we couldn't tour. Certainly not without having drumming. So that took a bit of, well, I didn't say persuading, but you didn't know. No, I said
nothing basically. That's always very persuasive, isn't it? Yes, Bruce used the most persuasive method known to men. No, it was clear that we were both thinking in the same direction, and I think when it happens to you in your lifetime, where you meet people that you connect with and feel like you can work very well with, and I recognised that Bruce and Steve and John were guys that I would be very happy to work with, and creatively it was going in the same direction that I wanted to go in. So it was very simple, really.
Great. Pineapple Thief released a brand new album back in August last year, Dissolution, which is right here. This album, just like the previous one, was extremely well received by fans and critics. Guys, did you expect such a positive response, and why?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think we knew it was coming together. It's one of those albums where it was a look. We worked hard on it, getting it as good as we wanted it to be, but I think we knew when the songs were coming together that this is working well. And I think that the one thing that you get as a songwriter and as a musician when you've been doing it for as long as we have is when things are good and when they're shit. And that's for me, that's one of the biggest talent, if it's a talent or skills, is knowing when something is good enough and when it's bad enough, knowing when to let go when it's bad enough, what you need to do to make it good. So that's why I think when we finished it, we were really happy with it.
Yeah.
Some bands nowadays, they try to stay away from calling themselves progressive rock bands. They will use other terms such as art rock, alternative, and name it. What do you guys call yourselves, and what do you think about progressive rock in 2019?
Well, I mean, I try not to think about genres.
Okay.
A genre is a great excuse for someone to completely ignore your life's work. You know, it's not our pigeonholing. We don't call ourselves progressive rock. It's how other people perceive us. I don't like to think in boxes or within fences, or this has to be like this. I mean, write and play the music the way we feel it. If other people perceive it as progressive, then that's great. If other people perceive it as rock or reggae or, you know, polka music, you know, line dancing music, whatever they think of it, it doesn't matter as long as they can discern that it's good and not bad. Really, good and bad are the only two genres worth considering, regardless of how other people want to label you. Yeah.
I mean, we do get a lot of coverage in the progressive rock media, and but the thing is, it's such a vast, you know, pond of ocean of bands and styles. I mean, you've got an Anglo-Guard t-shirt on, I've noticed. You know, we played with Anglo-Guard, God, 2004. They're a very different kind of progressive band to us. Dream Theater is a very different kind of progressive band to the progressive metal bands that are out there. So it's really difficult to say, well, what kind of music do you do? You wouldn't just say, oh yeah, we're progressive rock. You would never say that. You would have to. It's kind of, it's not a simple one or two word answer anymore.
And you never say that when an immigration officer asks you what kind of music do you make.
Right.
You're never going to get in the country.
No, I get that. Home here in Canada, you'll be playing Quebec City on November 26th, Montreal November 27th, Toronto in November 28th. Let's talk a little bit about Quebec City because that's where I live in. You'll be playing at the Palais Montcalm, which is a great venue, a little over 1,000 seats. And I don't know if you knew, but well, as of today, you're pretty much 75% already sold in that venue. Are you surprised? It looks like Quebec fans are really looking forward to see you live here.
Well, yeah. Well, I was very surprised that we've done 75% so soon, seeing as it's 7 months until the show. But I think, did you say Porcupine did well in Quebec when you?
Yeah, I remember playing a festival in the middle of Quebec, an outdoor festival with Porcupine Tree, about 2007 maybe.
Yeah.
There was about 5,000 people. It was the biggest gig we'd ever done at that point in our career. So I didn't realise there were so many great music fans in Quebec City. Oh, don't forget Vancouver's on that list too.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Vancouver is on that list. Yeah, it's full in
And
North America.
Did a lot of shows recently.
Yeah, we played there with King Crimson, Quebec, and Montreal and Toronto.
Yeah.
And I think we're coming back to Montreal and Toronto as well, King Crimson.
Yeah.
Yep.
So so it's always been there's always been a lot of people from Quebec who've been asking, come to Quebec, you know, but you never know actually come how many people there actually are. So it's a pleasant surprise.
Well, I know people really enjoy your music around here, but I was quite surprised as well of how fast they went sold. So good on you. Congratulations. You guys will offer VIP upgrades during this tour. Can you tell us a little bit about what the VIP will include?
Yeah, so it's a little bit more informal than maybe some other VIP packages where, you know, people come in and we just hang out with them for a bit, have some chat with them, sign whatever stuff they've got.
Take some photos with them, they ask us questions. There's a goodie bag with a USB stick full of rarities on it and signed pictures and well, kind of, it's all good stuff and it's informal. It's not, you know, it's a kind of mingle. It's a little party, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's gone really well so far. I think it's just people been quite relaxed and it's just been good fun actually.
Well, that USB memory stick you're talking about, will that be like MP3s mixed with videos and all that, or? Like,
It's mainly WAV files, so it's no, it's FLAC files, so it's lossless,
okay.
lossless stuff on there, but it's audio. So it's about 1.8 gigs of audio from all of the sort of archives and the rarities and things like that over the years.
Plus a little live session from
Florence.
Florence.
Yes, so we did a few songs in Florence just for the stick.
That makes it really interesting for collectors.
Yeah.
The Pineapple Thief played Terra Incognita back in 2009 in Quebec City. Today, in 2019, can you tell us about the band's evolution during that 10-year period? What has changed and what is still the same?
Well, I mean, I remember that. It's funny enough because I was thinking, well, last time, when did we play Quebec last time? And that was I don't know if you've ever been there. It's a small little church.
Not this one.
Yeah, so I think there's probably the capacity must be 150 in there, 200 maybe.
Yeah, 180-ish.
180. Yeah, so it's very small. But I remember we enjoyed it. But how the band's progressed since then, has been quite. I've been very pleased. I mean, being on Kscope has been a big part of that. But I think it's clear that the last two albums, that's when a lot of people have found out about the plans, and that's where it's really things have changed. So the last 4 years have been the years really.
Yeah. Gavin, over to you. Your discography is absolutely impressive. Like, you just look at Wikipedia and you're like, wow, it's unreal. You seem to never take breaks. Cheating the Polygraph.
Oh yeah.
Is already 2 years old. Can you briefly describe this album and anything you can share about new solo albums or any projects you're working on?
Well, the only projects I'm working on actually is the next Pineapple Thief record. Being in two bands, being in Pineapple Thief and King Crimson currently, doesn't leave me a lot of quality time at home. So I relish the times to be at home, and pretty much all downtimes I have this year, I've already earmarked for various projects that we're doing for Pineapple Thief. There's going to be a live album coming out. There's going to be some re-recording of some older tracks, and we're working really hard on a new record, which hopefully will come out sometime next year. So to keep the momentum up, yeah. I haven't done any other side projects lately, solo albums. I haven't done any solo albums since Cheating the Polygraph, mainly because of the time it takes to do it, and I don't want to spread myself so thin that I just don't have a life,
Again, for Gavin, before you go on tour with the Pineapple Thief in October, you'll be touring with King Crimson, like you said. Can you tell us what we can expect from this tour, and like if we compare it to the previous tour, which was one of my favorite live performance ever. I loved it.
Right. Yeah. Well, there is rumor of some new old material that we're going to be working on after we finish this tour. I've got a month at home, and then we start King Crimson rehearsals. So there's a few new pieces we're working on, some new old songs we're working on, and this is the sort of the 50th anniversary tour,
Yep.
the King Crimson. So we're doing two really big tours, 2 7.5-week tours this year, and yes, we'll be in Canada, Toronto and Montreal, I believe.
Yep. Bruce, what about you? Like, before you go on that tour in October, what are you probably working on the new next Pineapple Thief album?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm quite lucky now that I can dedicate my time to Pineapple Thief. It wasn't that long ago where I had to do other things like mixing projects for other bands and production projects. Now I can just focus on the album, and it does take a long time. And so, like Gavin says, he's away with King Crimson quite soon, so it's going to be really getting as much done with Gavin before he goes. And then when Gavin's on the road, then the rest of us can work on the songs and send them over to Gavin in his hotel, wherever he is. So the process will still carry on. and that's like and the live record that we're doing. So there's plenty to do.
Okay. Will there be a DVD, a Blu-ray, or something from that tour? Or?
I don't think so, because we did the Blu-ray for the Your Wilderness tour. So I think this time it's just going to be audio. So
Okay.
probably be a high-res audio version, like a DVD with 5.1 as well, but no visuals.
We're almost at the end of it already, but we at Profile, we love to ask questions that only require one-word answers. So I have a few of these. If you wanna pass, you just say pass, and we move on to the next. So I'll ask you both two answers, please. First, what was your favorite concert you attended as a fan?
Fan. You go? Yeah.
My one would be Paul Simon in 1981.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of. I think probably it was a Father John Misty gig I went to, only because I thought he was the greatest frontman I've ever seen.
As a live musician now, which one of your concert would you consider the best ever, or the one you enjoyed the most?
I think it was a show we just did in Hamburg, actually, just because it was such an electric atmosphere. It's one of those atmospheres you don't forget.
Yeah, for me it was Shepherd's Bush Empire last year. We played there. It was great. Great.
If there was an opportunity to play live with an artist, dead or alive, who would that be?
I'd probably invite Beck onto the stage.
Nice.
Yeah, I've always been an admirer of what he does.
I've always been an admirer of David Bowie, so that would have been good.
T-shirt. Are you more into jazz or blues?
Jazz for me.
Yeah, jazz.
What is your favorite King Crimson song?
That's a good question. It changes from night to night.
Yeah.
Sailor's Tale is a good song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with all the catalogue. As a kid, the track that everyone listened to was 21st Century Schizoid Man or whatever. That's what, isn't it?
That's what it's called.
That's the one.
Thanks for being such a fan.
If there was one song you wish you had written yourself, which one would that be?
It would probably be any song by the Beatles.
Yeah.
One song. Oh God.
Never really think like that, do you?
I don't think like that. Yeah. One song. Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Love it. Who's your favorite drummer of all time?
You can answer that, Bruce.
Oh, it's that Mr. Gavin, Mr. Gavin Harrison.
Oh no! Oh, that's
He's
embarrassing.
mine.
Favorite drummer of all time, Steve Gadd.
Wow. If you recall the first album you ever purchased with your own money, which one is it?
Album? Yeah, it was a double live album by Status Quo. Must have been about 9 years old.
I think my one was New Boots and Panties by Ian Dury and the Blockheads.
That's a good name.
It's about 1977. Something like that.
Last one, guys. Which one would you prefer, the Pineapple Tea Festival or a cruise?
I can answer Gavin. I can answer for Gavin.
Where's my coat?
Festival.
Hey, thank you so much, guys. I was extremely happy to do it with you. Looking forward to see you in Canada in November, and I wish you two the best.
Great. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
You guys take care.
Cheers.
Bye.